We've all heard the data. 70% of change initiatives fail to meet their intended result. But why? Why have we yet to fully understand the root cause or causes driving our collective inability to consistently deliver big change in business? Well, I have made it my life's work to crack this code and offer solutions to the world to address that very challenge. Curious? Let's get it. Change efforts today, from digital transformation, organizational restructure, merger or acquisition integration, or culture transformation, have an abysmal rate of success. But why? In this video, I'm going to be sharing 3 key drivers to your change efforts' demise. Drivers I've discovered over the last 2 decades, not only working as an executive in corporate, but also now leading my Fortune 500 clients through their biggest change initiatives. I've spent several years, actually almost 15 years, working as an executive in corporate America, and it was all predominantly in the consumer packaged goods industry. And during that career, during those 15 years, I experienced significant change, notably in the acquisition space. I experienced be a part of an organization that had just acquired a business, helping to integrate that business. I also was a part of a business that got acquired, now having to be integrated into that new parent company. And going through it all, I have felt the pain, the challenge, the struggle of going through really big, significant change, especially that type of change that you didn't ask for, that feels like it just walks in the door, slaps you across the face, knocks you on the ground, and you're wondering what happened. I did not ask for this. And through this pain, through this challenge, I knew there had to be a better way to successfully engage employees in really major change initiatives to achieve the success of the change initiative, as well as ensure that those employees remained engaged, fulfilled moving through the change journey. As a result, I've made it my life's work to understand what are those root causes that drive the demise of change initiatives. And given the pain and challenge that I experienced, I already had a little insight about what that could be. And then also, just to help you get to know me a little bit better, I don't know if you're aware, but I'm a chemical engineer by trade, which is why I was working in corporate for about 15 years, leveraging that degree in chemical engineering. And so I've always had a natural curiosity. And in university, getting my engineering degree, what we were taught is how to solve complex problems. And we were taught to do that by finding, identifying, and mitigating root cause. Once you can understand the root cause of a problem or an issue, you can mitigate that and then successfully solve that problem in a very sustainable way. And I've now used that same paradigm in my work, leading my consulting company, working with clients all over the world, going through big change and transformation, striving to understand the root cause to why they've yet to be successful in their change journeys. And so what I want to do now is dive into 3 root causes I've identified, not only experiencing big change as an executive in corporate America, but also now working with organizations all around the world, striving to successfully deliver big change and big transformation. The first root cause that I've identified is that so often organizations have people first intention, but people last impact. I've said it once before, and I will say it time and time and time again. It is people that make change happen. Not processes, not worksheets, not documents, not systems, AI, machine learning. It's people. People make change happen. They not only make change happen, but they also make change stick. It's their mindset, their engagement, their motivation, and willingness to make that change happen that actually is what creates your success. And so often I see leaders, I see executives step forward when introducing a new change initiative saying that we're going to put you first. We're putting people first, ensuring that you're nurtured, ensuring that you have the capability in order to get through this change successfully. That might be communicated at the onset, and those executives might continue to have that intention, but the impact as you continue going through the initiative, really being laser focused on the deliverables, making sure that the initiative happens, the impact is that you're putting your people last, that they are falling last to delivering the change and making sure that you look good to your management. And so I think that there is a gap in making sure that the systems, the support, everything that's needed to build that capability to inspire and motivate the workforce, truly putting your people first, understanding that you need them, their motivation, their heart, their will, their spirit, their thought energy to make that change happen. Making sure you're truly putting that first to have a people first impact. When that happens, I see change happening more successfully versus when it's not. Because when you state that you have a people first intention, or that we're going to be putting people first, and then the actions, the behaviors that you're doing say something very different, then you're going to drive up your level of disengagement and potentially attrition, but really the demise of your change initiative. The second root cause is a lack of acknowledging emotion and building capability in your people to grow their own awareness and ability to manage through those emotions. Now, this is a root cause that I have felt personally, as I mentioned before, going through those big acquisitions. You know, the acquisition was coming, or it was looming. We knew that it was going to be there. We would hear from our executives, this is going to be challenging, it's going to be complex, it's going to be difficult. That was said, and then as you go through the change, nothing else was spoken about the difficult emotions that we were all going through. It was more like an unspoken grit your teeth and bear it. This is something we have to do. Yes, I know it's hard, but just get out there and do it. I think that you're giving your workforce, or you're doing your workforce a disservice when you do that. I think a much better way to engage your employees as you're moving through really difficult, complex change is to arm them. Arm them with the mindset and the skills that are going to be necessary to use the power of that emotional energy to fuel their growth, allowing them to see the challenge of that change as an opportunity, and that they are then empowered to step into that opportunity, choosing how they show up, how they navigate, how they lead, how they inspire, and how they execute through that change. Without nurturing that mindset and those skills, then you will likely have increasing disengagement. You'll have a lot of resistance and a lot of pushback as you're trying to move your change initiative forward, because that energy has nowhere to go. You haven't created those avenues, you haven't created that capability to allow and enable your employees to work through those more difficult emotions. So what happens? They either stay within those employees as they keep their mouths shut and just stay to the grindstone trying to get change, to work, and then often leading to stress and burnout. Or you might create dysfunctional relationships where there's venting that happens, those downward spirals that I know you know what I'm talking about, when some change is going down and all you want to do is vent, talk about it with everybody, about how much it sucks, how much it's just horrible, right? All that can take over the organization, create churn, and work against you, creating this momentum that moves you away from the success of your change. But when those same individuals are armed with a mindset and a means to harness the power of that emotional energy to propel them forward, moving through the change, knowing that they're about to grow on a personal level, that's going to help ensure the success of your change and the success of that change sustainably. Yo, are you getting value from this? Are you like I am? You love thinking about, talking about change and disruption and transformation and resilience and emotion? Oh, I just get giddy thinking about it. Well, make sure you click subscribe, because I drop videos like this all the time, giving you value at your fingertips to help you become successful, growing through even your biggest change challenges. So make sure you click subscribe and you'll get notified the next time a video drops. All right, let's get back into it. The third root cause to the potential demise of a big change initiative in business is the lack of alignment and non-transparent and inconsistent communication. When you're embarking upon a really complex, really challenging change initiative, one that requires the support, the enrollment from a lot of different individuals throughout the organization, different leaders, different functions, different teams, it requires alignment at every single level of the organization. And it's beyond just agreeing that the change needs to happen, right? It's truly aligning on the vision, why we need to do it, why we need to do it now, and then what's going to be required in order to see success. And of course, what success looks like. You must ensure that that understanding is aligned throughout the entire organization. And that again might mean some leaders don't necessarily agree with it, but they are aligned, meaning that they're going to put their effort, their energy, their motivation towards making that change happen. They understand it, and they're aligned with the mission and the execution to move it forward. Now, the other root cause that I mentioned here is about ambiguous or inconsistent communication. We're doing some work right now with a multi-billion-dollar pet company, and they're going through a huge transformation journey. They've been going through it for about the past couple years. And in my work with the organization, helping to arm the individuals with the power to experience self-actualized growth when going through that big change, I was speaking to one of the individuals that was in one of our sessions, and she confided in me that one of the challenges that she sees within that organization is leadership's inability to communicate consistently the dynamics of the change, what's required of her, what's required of others in order to make that change happen. It just seemed like there was a vision for a change and then just this urgency to make it happen. And so she felt like a lot of times people were tripping over their own feet, not understanding why the change needs to happen, why the change has to happen with such a high level of urgency, and what's required of them. So it's so important that you are finding ways to consistently communicate what's expected of the employees and the status and progress of the change. The other thing that this individual stated in this pet company is that leaders, though they didn't communicate consistently, would say, "We just need you to trust us. Just trust us. Go out, do the work. Trust us that this is what is needed for the business." And for me, it was a reminder to reiterate to that leadership team that trust is earned, especially as a leader in business. It is very rare that you have trust that's just freely granted. Rather, trust must be earned. And a way to earn that trust is through consistent action and behavior, including the way that you're communicating. And so that's one lever that you really need to pull in order to ensure the success of your change initiative, ensuring alignment throughout every level of the organization, whether there's agreement to where you're going or not, and ensuring you're using consistent and crystal clear communication. The vision, what's pushing the sense of urgency, why now, and then what's required of every organization or every team in order to make the change a success. And of course, what that success looks like. So I truly hope you got value to that. And if you're hungry for more, great. I got something else for you. I actually want to gift you a free chapter from my best-selling book, Change Enthusiasm: How to Harness the Power of Emotion for Leadership and Success. And specifically, I want to gift you the introductory chapter to this growth mindset. You know, as you think about successfully enrolling the organization, going through change, meeting your intended result on a consistent basis and successfully, it's important again that you're arming yourself and your employees with a mindset that enables self-actualized growth through change. So that when things get really challenging, when those difficult emotions are inspired, that there is a means, there's a mindset that enables that individual to harness the power of that emotion, to fuel them forward as opposed to hold them back. And that's what Change Enthusiasm is all about. So all you got to do is click the link below. You'll get a free chapter and introduction to that mindset so that you can begin practicing it today. So click the link. I want to make sure you have the data, the research, and the insights to ensure your growth through even your most challenging changes. I'm Cassandra Worthy, and until we meet again, keep growing and keep rocking.